Soundstripe.
Hey y'all, I'm back. It's been a hell of a few weeks and I needed a break because as much as I wanted to talk about the events, y'all know where I stand at. So I don't got nothing to say about that. But anyway, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about a conference that I attended last week, and let's just say the news is not good, specifically for my people. But first, if you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Smith, and I'm a doctor in clinical psychology. I'm also a licensed social worker, and I work with early intervention, which is ages 0 to 6. I study gun violence as it affects Black women, and I also study institutional racism as it causes racial trauma. Y'all gonna have to excuse these kids outside because you know it's warm out here in Ohio, and everybody out here playing. But anyway, shall I continue? So here is where I was at last Thursday. And these were some of the presenters. On the far left in the gray, you have Dr. Hanover. Sis got a long, extensive history. The lady in the middle is Dr. Cotton. She's a psychiatrist. And then the last lady on the end with the dress on is Dr. Beverly Van Diver. And let me tell you how these good sisters was literally giving us the business and giving us all the info that we needed for our community. But I want to specifically talk about her and her research when it comes to adolescence. So I've been seeing a lot of parents and a lot of people run to the internet talking about how all these adolescents are so disrespectful. They don't have any respect for anybody. They're aggressive. They out here killing folks and doing all this, just doing all this stuff, basically running haywire. And one of the things that Dr. Van Diver pretty much pointed out was that the same stuff y'all going through as adults, adolescents is going through the same thing. But she gave us a list. So here's the list that she provided for us. Pause to read. And in that list, there was a few things that stuck out to me that I kind of want to go over that she talked about. First of all, she's talked about structural racism. As you know, nobody thought that we would be here. Like literally, we're trying to stop white people from introducing or reintroducing Jim Crow. So the adolescents are going through that, having to see people take away their history, having to see, shootings and police brutality. So nobody thought we'd be here, and specifically the kids. Number two, one of the things that she talked about was bullying, and that she talked about cyberbullying has stayed the same, but school bullying has increased 3 times, 2 to 3 times. So I understand that, the behavior of your adolescent may not be great right now, but I'm here to let you know they are going through it just like you are. One thing that always comes up for me when I'm working with children and parents is the same message. Same message. So let me explain. Now that I'm, been working with, families and children for a while, one message that always comes up whenever I see just conversations online or just conversations in general is that my children is too young to learn that. And what made me think of this is I started reading this book, Raising White Kids, Bringing Up Children in a Racially Unjust America by Dr. Jennifer Harvey. And one of the things she talked about is how people have to start having conversations about race quite early with their kids. So that way they understand, how to basically navigate these conversations when race gets brought up, or just in general start making a sense of what they see in the news or in their schools or out in their community. And I often think that parents forget that your child is a sponge. So even if you think that your child isn't learning or don't need to learn something because they're not developmentally at the age that they should learn, one thing that I think could be addressed is that they're going to learn anyway. And so who better should they learn that from? You, as the parent. And I get it that there are some things that is going to come up that's going to make you uncomfortable. Sex is one of them. Race is one of them. Like, I know that those are like the two topics that gets very, wishy-washy. Sexual orientation, that gets brought up a lot. And those are the things that I commonly see parents steer away from because they're like, no, my child's too young. No, my child doesn't need to know that, when actual reality, your child probably is already experiencing those things. When it comes to race, if your child is in a diverse setting or at a place where there's diversity, they have eyeballs. Those eyeballs work. And they see there are people who don't look like them. As your child starts to develop hormones and as they start to get older, they recognize that their body parts do not look like, someone that's of the opposite sex. They understand that and they see that, or they get curious. And lastly, a lot of these children start developing feelings for the opposite sex, and hell, maybe even the same sex. This just doesn't happen when they hit adulthood. It's happening right now. And you should start having these conversations right now.
Sounds right.